Hi, Connecticut Goju fam. It's Danny here, and I'm here to talk to you high school seniors about karate training while in college. So, my first tip is a little cheesy, but bear with me. I felt that one of the most important things to first do is accept that life is changing and that your training must also change. Um, Obviously, your training should always be changing for the better. You should always be trying to find new techniques to enhance it and do better. But now, most likely, you might not live close to your dojo, and if you do, that's great. You should continue going and kind of keep somewhat of a similar routine as to what you're doing. You know, try to go twice a week, even more if you can. Once a week is great too. But if you live hours away in the middle of nowhere or something, you're going to have to find some new ways to train, whether it be virtually or find somebody else to train with. So I'd say the first thing to do is realize you do have to change this up and make a plan. So to make a plan, you have to be really practical with your time and your abilities. You don't want to aim too high that you get super discouraged and it's not physically possible or you're not capable of finishing out that plan. But you also want to strive for a plan that challenges you, challenges your karate, and will for sure enhance it. So for me, I go to school in Ohio, but my home base is in Connecticut. So I knew there was no possible way for me to train at the dojo every week or twice a week. You know, I'd only be able to train when I came home, which is, only on breaks. So I figured I'd have to figure out something to do in Ohio. So for me, there's a sensei in Ohio that lives 3.5 hours from my school. So I set up a time with him, and luckily he was so willing to train one-on-one with me. He was so excited about that. So I would get up at 4 a.m., travel for 3.5 hours, meet with him, train for him for the entire day till like 6 or 7 at night, and then drive back to school and make it back for like 10:30ish. And I knew I couldn't do that every week. You know, that takes an entire full, long, hard day of training, every single week. And when you have like a ton of tests, it wasn't very practical for me and all the activities I was doing at the time. So I decided for every other week. So that's a fourth of your weekends dedicated to karate. So I felt like that was pretty good to keep up with. So you'll have to be similar and try to figure out a plan that you can physically be able to do. Like, can you drive 3.5 hours on your own early in the morning, or could you do longer? Is it a shorter time you can handle? And then you also have to keep in mind your time. Like, school should be your priority right now. A lot of things are changing to be your priorities. You should be trying different activities and stuff. So you want to make sure that karate has a presence in your life, but that the other things that are very important to you are also taking their own rightful priorities too. Okay, so my third tip is really short and sweet. It's just set reminders. So most people have a pretty decent phone by now, and I'm sure as a college student you need one to spit out emails like that and stuff. So I'm pretty sure you guys all have a reminders app on your phone, or maybe you write them down by hand in a book and look at them every day. But either way, set a reminder every day to train. Even if you think you'll remember, just write it down for writing it down's sake. Because there's some days that you're going to get overloaded and you're going to completely forget. So my reminder, my blaringly loud, annoying alarm reminding me to train was really helpful. One semester I set it early in the morning, and that's the first thing I would do. But your schedule changes every semester, so another semester I'd train at night. For me, training in the middle of the day, I realized wasn't really practical for me, because you're busy doing other things. Like, the last thing you want to do in the middle of your day is change into workout clothes and get super, super sweaty. You kind of want to do that like before the end of the day, or whenever you're going to take your shower, right beforehand. So that's when I found it was easiest. It's kind of quicker. You don't have to change out of your clothes, back into your clothes or anything. So, yep. So my fourth thing is to keep in touch with your home base. This means your family and friends from back home, who support you and love you and don't necessarily do karate, but it also means your home dojo. because especially if you're going to test soon, or you're really struggling with your training, they can be really helpful. Reach out to your sensei. I'm sure he's more than willing to give you tips on how to do things. And for me, I was really blessed that people made videos of bunkai for me, which is something that I really struggled with. I didn't feel very confident in bunkai, and I definitely needed to memorize those. So having a video of somebody who for sure knew what they were doing was really great. So yeah, reach out to your sensei, reach out to your senpai. They will for sure be willing to help you. I definitely, over the course of my freshman year, reached out to a lot of different people, and was lucky they were willing to help me and, give me tips and things on practical things, and, what I can do to improve my training. So yeah, keep in touch with your home base, keep up to date what's going on at your home dojo, because you never know, maybe you'll have a weekend free from school that you can travel back up, go train in one of the tournaments or a Goshuku or something. For me, I always try to plan to try to not plan every home visit around karate, but if there's a karate competition, I try to make it back. And luckily, a couple times my break has lined up with those, so I've been able to pop in or train my freshman year beforehand. Okay, so my fifth tip is to find someone to train with. Um, Obviously, in our style, both sparring and kata are very important. If you're only training kata, your kata won't be that sharp. You need to know the real world application to it. You need to be able to know how to maneuver your body around someone. And likewise, if without kata you're sparring, you're gonna miss that technique. So, and when you're in college and if you're alone, you're not close to a dojo, you're most likely doing a lot of training on your own. You can't spar yourself. So finding someone to train with is really important. Especially punching a heavy bag can help a lot because you need to feel that impact, work on your power for your technique, because if you only work on kata, your technique will suffer. You need to have kumite and work with somebody else. It really helps your training a lot. So to find someone to train with, it's our tradition that you go through your current sensei. He'll probably hit you up and ask, hey, where are you going to school? He'll be asking about your training and how you're doing and such. But make sure you tell him where you're going, that you want to continue training. Ask him, is there anybody around where I'm going that who would want to train with me? Is there any senseis, any dojos, any other students that you think would be able to help me in my Goju-Ryu? But even if there's nobody to train karate with, you can always train with other people at your school for other things. Just not karate. There's tons of people who work out at college gyms. Keeping up on your physical health is very important too. And I think that in a sense that's also your karate training. Find a gym buddy. There will be tons of people going to the gym in college. You can find somebody who's at your level who will push you, who you will push them in return. And stay with a constant schedule with them. Just as you would if they were training karate, you'd set a specific time and place with them, hold yourself accountable. You can do that with your gym buddy. Yep. Don't game the freshman 15. So my sixth thing is to train everywhere. And I mean this in two senses. So in the first sense, I mean it to literally train everywhere. There are Goju-Ryu people all around the world, all around the United States. So look out for those opportunities where if you're going someplace, if there's people that train, maybe see what they're up to, ask your sensei if there's anything going on, like, hey, I'm going to this area, is there anybody I can train karate with? And then in the second sense, I also mean to train literally everywhere in your everyday life. So, you can, if you have a moment and you're doing nothing, you're in a waiting room, you can always be practicing your gripping. Obviously, don't do anything while you're driving. Don't be distracted. but you can always be working on something, especially your zanchin, your remaining mind. I don't know when I developed this habit, but I don't know, probably quite a few years ago. But whenever something's hard, I just think to myself, zanchin, zanchin, zanchin. And it sounds kind of weird, but it kind of works for me. And, you know, when life is hard, you just have that remaining mind. And in college, I'm sure you'll come up with times like during finals when you're just crammed, you're just getting no sleep, you're just studying, studying, studying. Make sure you get sleep during finals. But anyway, so that remaining mind is like a great attitude to have in life. So even if your physical training is slacking at the moment, you know, you're not training with many people, you know, you're crammed, other things are taking priority, at least your zanchin is something you can always be working on no matter where you are and what you're doing. So I want to stress that if you don't feel like you're doing anything, work on your zanchin. It is one of the most important things ever. So my seventh tip is to bring your gear and notes with you to college. Even if you don't expect to train with anyone, if you don't see any opportunities, you never know. Once you get there, you might have somebody that's over there. You don't know when the possibilities to train will arise. So bring your gear bag with you. You never know when, I don't know, Sensei Ralph is in the area and hits you up. So make sure you bring your gear bag with you. And then your notes are very important, especially if right now, you know, physical training is lacking again. You can brush up on your notes. For me, I always find it helpful to write them down in a notebook and then later transfer them to Google Docs. I absolutely love Google Docs because you can access them on any device on your phone no matter where you are. If you're in a waiting room, you know, have a ton of time and there's nothing to do, you know, you have your phone, you can bring up your Google Docs and you can study karate. It's a great thing. And then make sure also to bring your gear bag and your notes back with you when you come back home, just to make sure that if you do stop by the dojo, you have everything you need. Make sure you have everything always clean and kept in your gear bag. Your mom definitely for sure isn't cleaning your gear bag anymore. So, at least I really hope not. So my eighth thing is to modify your plan. So for me, you know, training with Sensei John every other weekend worked really well my freshman semester. But then my second freshman semester, my schedule completely changed. It was really hard to make it on Saturdays. So I had to kind of fix it up, you know, do more training on my own, you know, look at more virtual videos that my sensei was sending out to me. So make sure that you realize, you come to an understanding that it's okay to just have to modify your plan. You're not failing if, you know, this plan was working and now it's not. As a college student, your schedules change drastically every single 4 months. So make sure you're keeping up to what plan is working for you and keep changing it when it doesn't work. So my last wholesome tip, number 10, is to take care of your health. Mother isn't there to watch what you're eating. She's not there to see how much you're chilling on your bed on your phone. She won't be harassing you. I mean, she'll be trying to call you, but you can always decline the call. And if you're 2 hours away, she's most likely not going to come and get you. So, make sure that when you go to the cafeteria, I know, like, there's a ton of options. You can kind of eat whatever you want. But make sure you're making healthy choices. Again, you don't want to gain the freshman 15. And then keep up, obviously, exercising, as I said before. Find a gym buddy, and if you can't, just motivate yourself, you know, like, if you love running by yourself, working out by yourself, lifting weights by yourself, do it. Keep care of your mental health also, you know, make sure you're reaching out to people if you need help, making sure you're coping with stress and stuff and the new changes. So make sure you just take care of your health in general, like any other aspect of health. Make sure you're keeping up to date, you're going to the doctors if you feel sick, you're not just blowing it off because you're too lazy to make an appointment. So yeah, just make sure that you're all over, like, doing healthy and doing well. So, because if you're healthy, obviously your training will show in that. It's hard to train with a weak body, mind, and soul. So make sure you're feeding those things. I hope that video was somewhat helpful for you guys. Remember, I'm always here if you need to hit someone up or ask questions or just need to talk to me. I always love hearing from you guys and seeing how you guys are doing. So good luck. I'm sure you guys will do great. I'm excited to see what you guys are studying, where you are going, what life's next adventure is. So take care, guys.